How do institutional leaders avoid many of the usual minefields in the academy?
There are minefields galore in the academy. I would say first and foremost, the place to start is during the hiring process. When a president is meeting with a board and they are being offered a job, I think it's essential that they make it very clear to the board that they expect the board's job is to be to hire them and, if necessary, to fire them, but that they must allow the president to run the institution. And this can avoid a whole lot of problems because although great boards are a huge asset and great board members are a huge asset, with the leader of that board being the most critical person on that team, it's kind of like the difference between a good marriage and a bad marriage. If you have a board who's positive and supportive, lets you and recognizes that you need to run that institution and lead that institution, and they're there to support and to help when needed, then, and of course they have fiduciary responsibilities, but that's an aside from the main leadership point, then you can have a wonderful, wonderful future with that board and a great relationship. But if they're meddling or if they're trying to pressure you into doing things that they want to see happen at an institution, then it can be a real nightmare. And I would not advise any president to stay in a situation where they feel that they're being manipulated or pressured. So it's good to get that right out there in the very beginning, in the front. But there are also other minefields within the institution besides the board. And that is, your constituents have a lot of power. Faculty very often in some institutions can be very resistant to change. And you have to bring them along. You can't browbeat them, but sometimes it's good to have an outside organization come in and talk about the critical nature of entrepreneuring and changing that institution in order for it to survive. If the institution doesn't survive, then no one has a job. So it's very important that everybody buys into that and doesn't resist the change. The other constituents, students, alumni, it's important for presidents to articulate the vision very clearly and talk about why the change is so important to the survival of the institution in the long run. Once people understand it and buy into it, then they can all lean into it and build a better organization.